Some things emerging from the ice were never meant to see the light of day. Viruses dormant for 30,000 years, frozen creatures with still liquid blood, aircraft swallowed and returned by the ice as if begging to be found. Science tries to explain, but in many cases it cannot. These 14 discoveries are real, documented, and completely out of the ordinary. Get ready to explore frozen mysteries on our planet where snow and ice conceal secrets from millennia past. Let's dive into 14 astonishing discoveries buried deep in the ice. 14. A hidden mountain range beneath the ice, the unknown giant. Imagine walking across a vast sheet of ice, believing you are in an empty, desolate place. Now picture that just beneath your feet lies a colossal mountain range, dormant for centuries, never before seen by human eyes. In 1958, a Soviet expedition in Antarctica made a stunning discovery, an entire mountain range buried beneath an astounding 600 meters of ice. They named it the Gamburtsev Mountain Range, and this unbelievable structure stretches for an incredible 1,250 kilometers, with peaks reaching elevations of 3,390 meters. It's as if the Alps, in all their grandeur, had been swallowed by the ice and erased from the map of history. This mysterious giant, still surrounded by unanswered questions, remains one of the most unexplored and inaccessible regions on Earth. How could something so monumental have formed? And more intriguingly, why is it buried so deep? Scientists, armed with cutting-edge technology, are working to uncover its secrets, mapping this hidden range. Now pause for a moment and consider, beneath the vast, frozen silence of Antarctica lies a sleeping giant, awaiting the day it will finally be rediscovered, bringing new chapters to the story of Earth. 13. Frozen fortune. Hidden gold in the Arctic. The Arctic ice hides more than breathtaking landscapes. It conceals an unexpected treasure. During the last ice age, the movement of glaciers carried something surprising: gold. As the glaciers advanced, they absorbed and trapped gold deposits deep within the Arctic's frozen layers. Now, with global warming and the melting of these ice sheets, new deposits are emerging, revealing a treasure frozen in time for thousands of years. For fortune seekers, this discovery is quite literally a golden opportunity. As the Arctic melts, these hidden riches are becoming more accessible, offering a unique chance to those bold enough to face the extreme conditions in pursuit of this forgotten gold. However, this opportunity comes with a painful dilemma. While the planet warms and the ice retreats, the newly exposed treasure stands as a grim symbol of an ongoing environmental crisis. The glint of gold beneath the ice reveals not only a distant past, but also a future filled with uncertainty. 12. Armored dinosaur beneath the ice. Guardian of prehistoric Antarctica today, Antarctica is seen as one of the harshest and most desolate environments on the planet. But imagine that, millions of years ago, this frozen continent was home to lush forests and majestic creatures. Yes, long before it was blanketed in ice, Antarctica was inhabited by incredible dinosaurs. In 1986, two Argentine geologists, Eduardo Olivero and Roberto Scasso, made a discovery that would change our understanding of the continent's past. Beneath the ice of James Ross Island, they found the fossils of a previously unknown dinosaur species. This prehistoric creature, named Antarctopelta, was an armored dinosaur covered in protective plates to defend itself in an environment that, even then, was already beginning to show signs of its future hostility. But unearthing this giant was no easy task. Over 10 long years, scientists endured biting cold and frozen ground, battling extreme conditions to reveal each fragment of this prehistoric enigma. Every bone uncovered was like a torn page from an ancient book, telling the story of a time when Antarctica teemed with life and dinosaurs roamed its verdant landscapes. Antarctopelta is not just a fossil, it is a window into a long-forgotten past. A powerful reminder that beneath the ice now covering our world lie secrets of ancient eras, patiently waiting to be rediscovered. 11. Yucca the mammoth, the guardian of time. Some discoveries transport us straight into the past, challenging the very notion of time. In 2010, Siberian hunters stumbled upon something that would shock the scientific world. Yucca, a female woolly mammoth, incredibly well preserved for approximately 39,000 years. Her body was almost entirely intact, as if she had been frozen in an instant. Her fur, muscles, and even her skin had withstood the passage of time, offering an almost surreal glimpse of a creature that lived during the Ice Age. But what intrigued scientists even more was the fact that inside Yucca, they found liquid blood. Yes, blood still fluid after nearly 40 millennia. This extraordinary fluid contained natural substances that acted as antifreeze, allowing the blood to remain in a liquid state even after ages buried in ice. Moreover, markings on her bones suggested that Yucca had fought desperately to escape something, perhaps predators or even primitive human hunters. Yucca is far more than a frozen mammoth. She is a true time capsule, a portal that takes us back to a forgotten era when these woolly giants roamed desolate landscapes. Her discovery makes us wonder, what other ancient secrets lie preserved in the frozen depths of the permafrost, waiting for their moment to come back into the light? 10. Lost treasure in the Alps. Jewels from an aerial tragedy. The Alps, with their towering peaks and breathtaking scenery, have always hidden secret treasures. But in 2013, one of those secrets emerged in a surprising way. While climbing the majestic Mont Blanc, a French mountaineer made a discovery that seemed taken from a tale. A small metal box, frozen in the ice for decades. Upon opening it, he came across something completely unexpected. Sapphires, emeralds, and rubies, still gleaming, waiting to be found. These gemstones, however, carried a tragic story. They belonged to passengers aboard an Indian Airlines flight that crashed into the mountain in either 1950 or 1966, their belongings scattered across the glacier, frozen in time. The mystery of the jewels became a direct link to that forgotten tragedy, a reminder of the lives lost. Unable to trace the rightful heirs, the government decided to split the treasure with the mountaineer, who suddenly found himself in possession of a small fortune, estimated at an astonishing $340,000. But more than their financial value, these jewels are symbols of a life cut short, frozen in time, re-emerging as relics of a tragedy the world had nearly forgotten. Each stone, glinting in the sunlight, is a reminder that the past may lie hidden in the depths, waiting for the right moment to resurface. 9. The Grasshopper Glacier, the frozen prison of an extinct army. In the vast Rocky Mountains, silence is almost absolute, broken only by the wind that whistles fiercely through the trees. And it is in this harsh setting that one finds a unique glacier, the Grasshopper Glacier. But this is no ordinary glacier. Its grayish surface conceals a peculiar secret. Within its icy layers, millions of grasshoppers are trapped, frozen in time. The story behind this phenomenon is as striking as it is bizarre. Centuries ago, a gigantic swarm of grasshoppers was crossing the Rocky Mountains in search of new land. Then, a winter storm struck unexpectedly, and the deadly cold caused the insects to fall, forever imprisoned in the glacier. The result is a true frozen graveyard, where these creatures remain untouched, forming layers that tell a silent story of nature and its relentless power. When geologist J.P. Kimball discovered this glacier in the early 20th century, he had no idea he was facing something even more remarkable, The preserved grasshoppers belonged to a species that had been extinct for over a century, the Rocky Mountain locust, wiped out by agricultural expansion in the United States. The glacier thus became a treasure trove for scientists and researchers, a unique window into a lost chapter of natural history. Sadly, the Grasshopper Glacier is vanishing. Global warming is causing its layers to melt, and this incredible icy prison is dissolving. Reaching it requires braving treacherous trails, challenging terrain, and unpredictable weather. But for those who dare, the reward is witnessing an almost magical phenomenon, a glacier that preserves the history of a life interrupted, forever frozen in time. 8. Allen Hills, 84,001. The piece of Mars that could reveal extraterrestrial life. In the frozen vastness of Antarctica, where the wind cuts like a blade and the landscape seems to belong to another planet, something quite literally out of this world was found. The Allen Hills 84,001 meteorite. Weighing just 1.9 kilograms, this small fragment carries a breathtaking story. It formed around 4.2 billion years ago in the Martian crust, endured violent cosmic impacts, and, about 13,000 years ago, began its journey to Earth, landing on the icy mantle of Antarctica. In 1996, the scientific world was shaken. NASA discovered within this meteorite carbonate grains and iron minerals that resembled those produced by bacteria on Earth. Suddenly, this rock fragment was not just a piece of Mars, but possibly the first evidence of extraterrestrial life. The entire planet was swept up in speculation and hope. Could it be that Mars, billions of years ago, was home to some form of life? This hypothesis, however, soon faced challenges. Later research suggested that the carbonate grains were the result of interactions between water and minerals, unrelated to living organisms. Despite this, Allen Hills 84,001 remains one of the most fascinating meteorites ever discovered. Today, it is on display at the Smithsonian Museum, where people from all over the world can contemplate this piece of Martian history and wonder. Did Mars once harbor life? 7. Nun-Cho-Ga, the baby mammoth that defied time. In Yukon, a harsh land where the ground is as hard as stone and the mountains seem to touch the sky, its treasures are not limited to gold. On a day in June of 2022, young miner Travis Mudry made a discovery no treasure could surpass. Digging into the frozen ground, he found something shiny and strange. As he got closer, he realized the impossible. He was face to face with an incredibly well-preserved baby mammoth. With great care, Mudry alerted the specialists, who quickly arrived on site. The tiny mammoth was removed and taken to a special ceremony, where First Nations elders named her Nun-Cho-Ga, meaning big baby animal. The emotion was palpable. That creature had died around 30,000 years ago, and thanks to the permafrost, her body was astonishingly intact. Skin, muscles, even her DNA, as if she had fallen asleep just yesterday. Nun-Cho-Ga, a female likely only 1 month old, had strayed from her mother and gotten trapped in the mud. A deadly trap. However, it was the Yukon's ice that preserved her, offering science a unique opportunity to study an almost complete mammoth and unravel the mysteries of the Ice Age. Yukon has gifted us with other remarkable finds, such as frozen wolf pups and caribou calves caught in time. But Nun-Cho-Ga is one of a kind. She is the first complete baby mammoth ever found in North America, and only the second in the entire world. A true window into the past. She reminds us that no matter how far time moves forward, it never completely erases the stories of those who once walked the earth. 6. The C-53 Sky Trooper Dakota, the buried plane that survived a deadly storm. It was November 18th, 1946. The C-53 Sky Trooper Dakota was flying across the skies of Europe, carrying high-ranking Allied officers and their families. Captain Ralph Tate Jr., responsible for so many lives, had charted a longer route. avoiding storms, trusting that it would keep everyone safe. But even the most carefully laid plans can be undone by the unpredictable. As the aircraft flew over the Alps, it was caught in a furious storm. Imagine the desperation on board, snow-covered mountains appearing and vanishing amid thick clouds, while the pilots fought desperately to maintain control. Believing they were flying over the French Alps, they were in fact lost in the Austrian Alps. When a downdraft struck, the situation quickly became dire. With no time to lose, Captain Tate made a bold decision to land on the Gorley Glacier, an isolated expanse of ice. The C-53 skidded across the snow, and against all odds, everyone survived. A broken leg was the only serious injury, but the real test of endurance was just beginning. The plane's radio worked, but its distress signals were lost among the relentless mountains. It was 3 endless days of cold and uncertainty before US and British Air Forces located the survivors. In a nearly cinematic twist, it was Captain Tate's own father who spotted the plane, guided by the firing of a flare. The rescue, led by Swiss Alpine troops, was a heroic operation. Everyone was saved, escaping a fate that could have been far darker. The aircraft, however, remained buried in the glacier, forgotten by time, until 2012. That was when 3 young Canadians, exploring the glacier, found a propeller, unaware that they were unearthing a nearly lost story. Today, as the glaciers melt, there is hope that more wreckage from this historic crash will resurface. The C-53 Sky Trooper Dakota, still hidden beneath the ice, awaits the moment to tell its story once again. 5. Holes in Antarctic ice, a portal to a hidden ocean world. In October of 2017, the vast frozen desert of Antarctica was pierced by something mysterious. A massive hole appeared in the sea ice, as large as the state of Maine. Imagine a void, a colossal rupture opening in the middle of an Antarctic winter, when everything is supposed to be frozen and impenetrable. Scientists around the world were stunned, watching satellite images without understanding what could have caused such a phenomenon. This hole, known as a polynya, occurs when warmer, saltier waters rise to the surface, melting the ice above. However, this polynya was not in a coastal area, where such events are more common. It emerged in the heart of the sea ice, where the layer should have been solid and thick. The hole remained open for weeks, defying scientific explanation. Intrigued, researchers began using satellites, autonomous floats, and trackers on marine animals to figure out what was happening. They discovered that a deep-water vortex in the Maud Rise region had brought the salty waters to the surface, creating a kind of oceanic portal. This phenomenon, known as Ekman transport, is rare, but has the power to drastically alter the dynamics of ocean currents and the distribution of heat in the seas. The polynya is not just a scientific enigma, its implications are vast and alarming. This type of event can shift the thermal balance of Antarctica, accelerating glacier melt and affecting ocean currents across the planet. In turn, this could trigger dramatic changes in global climate. As climate change intensifies, the emergence of such polynyas raises a troubling question. Are we witnessing the beginning of something greater? Something that could redefine the future of the oceans and Earth's climate? While Antarctica remains a land full of mysteries, each new discovery makes us reflect on the complexity and fragility of the system that sustains our planet. These holes in the ice serve as silent reminders that we still have much to learn, and perhaps much to fear, about what lies beneath the Antarctic ice. 4. Millennia. Old iron skis. Ancient technology preserved in ice. Imagine yourself walking through the icy mountains of Norway more than 1,300 years ago. Beneath your feet lies not only snow, but handcrafted wooden skis, gliding along unexplored trails. This journey through time became real in 2014, when a team of scientists made a remarkable discovery in Norway's national park. An ancient ski, incredibly well preserved in the ice. But the story became even more astonishing 7 years later, when the matching ski was found just a few meters away, in even better condition. Dating back approximately 1,300 years, these skis are not the oldest ever discovered, but their preservation tells a fascinating story. Nearly 2 meters long, they were far more than just tools. They were true works of art, both functional and intricately detailed. Picture a hunter or traveler from an ancient civilization gliding across the unforgiving landscape using these skis. What's most surprising is that the skis have footholds with leather straps and birch bark bindings still preserved, as if they had been used just yesterday. The team led by archaeologist Lars Pilo offers us a rare glimpse into the daily life of these ancient peoples. They had already mastered sophisticated survival techniques in the mountains, using skis not only for transportation, but as essential tools for hunting and exploration. An interesting detail is that the two skis show slight variations in size, indicating they were handmade. The underside of the skis features a groove, much like modern designs, leading researchers to wonder, did they use animal skins to increase traction? Or was the groove a way to boost speed? These skis are far more than relics of a distant era. They represent human ingenuity and resilience in the face of extreme environments. Every preserved centimeter of wood transports us to the past, connecting us to the journeys of ancient mountain explorers who relied on their skill and creativity to survive. 3. Frozen viruses. The awakening of millennia-old threats. The idea of something surviving frozen for millennia is already astonishing. Now imagine that this something is a virus preserved in ice, just waiting for the moment to be released. It sounds like science fiction, but this is a reality scientists are now confronting. As Arctic and Siberian ice melts due to global warming, these ancient, once dormant viruses are beginning to emerge. One such virus, Pithovirus sibericum, was found in a permafrost sample estimated to be around 30,000 years old. It is incredibly large, about 1.5 millimeters in length, a giant in the viral world. It was discovered alongside Mollivirus sibericum, a virus capable of infecting amoebas and releasing hundreds of new viral particles. These pathogens are like time capsules, perfectly preserved and ready to wake up when the right conditions arise. But can these viruses infect humans? So far, scientists have only found viruses that affect amoebas, single-celled organisms. While they don't pose a direct threat to us, these discoveries offer clues about the diversity of viruses hidden in the ice. One fascinating example is Pandoravirus yedoma, a 48,500-year-old virus, the oldest ever found. With its oval shape, about 1 micrometer in length, it seems to have come straight out of a frozen mystery film. Still, concerns remain. As the ice melts, potentially dangerous viruses for mammals, or even humans, may be released. Biologist Jean-Michel Claverie, a specialist in ancient viruses, acknowledges this possibility. There is no conclusive evidence that deadly human pathogens have survived for that long, but the mere idea that they might be there is unsettling. What does this mean? The thaw caused by global warming is not only releasing methane and carbon dioxide, but perhaps something far more unpredictable, millennia-old viruses, possibly dormant for tens of thousands of years. If these zombie viruses come back to life, they may find new hosts, posing potential public health challenges in a world already shaken by pandemics. That's why scientists are on high alert, carefully monitoring thawing regions and any emerging threats. In a scenario where the past can literally emerge from the ice to impact our future, science plays a crucial role. After all, who knows what else might be hidden beneath those ancient layers of ice? 2. Glacier Girl, the plane that rose from the depths of ice. On July 15, 1942, 6 P-38. Lightning fighter planes and 2 B-17 Flying Fortress bombers were crossing the skies of Greenland as part of a daring mission bound for the British Isles. Carrying men and the hopes of a world at war, the aircraft were caught off guard by a brutal storm. The sky turned into a white curtain of snow and ice, and the disoriented pilots had no choice but to make an emergency landing on Greenland's relentless glaciers. The imposing aircraft, symbols of technological innovation, became trapped in the frozen wasteland, their hulls buried under ever-deepening layers of snow. All crew members were rescued after 9 long days of waiting, but the planes were left behind, swallowed by the ice and eventually buried under more than 75 meters over the years, becoming lost ghosts in time. Decades passed until, in 1992, a group of enthusiasts set out to do the impossible: recover one of the planes. The P-38 fighter, nicknamed Glacier Girl, became the focus of an epic mission. Using a giant heat plate to melt the ice, they labored for 11 years, braving extreme cold, uncertainty, and dangerous obstacles. In the end, their perseverance was rewarded when Glacier Girl was finally found, almost intact, except for the canopy crushed by the weight of the ice. The aircraft's restoration was a monumental feat, costing $500,000. And in October 2002, Glacier Girl once again did what she was built to do: fly. But the story does not end there. In 2007, plans emerged to complete the original mission, crossing the Atlantic to England. However, a coolant leak in the right engine forced an emergency landing in Canada, cutting the journey short. Though the mission was aborted, the indomitable spirit of Glacier Girl remained intact. In 2011, hopes of unearthing another piece of this frozen past were renewed. Using radar technology, a team located another P-38, nicknamed Echo, beneath the Greenland ice. The excavation, planned for 2019, was postponed, but the desire to recover another legend remains alive, proving that the past does not disappear, it merely waits to be rediscovered. 1. HMS Investigator, the Arctic Ghost, that reappeared after 150 years. In 1845, the dream of finding the Northwest Passage, a maritime route linking the Atlantic to the Pacific through the Arctic, captivated many explorers. Sir John Franklin set sail with his ships HMS Erebus and HMS Terror on an expedition that promised to open new frontiers in global navigation. However, instead of triumph, Franklin and his crew met a tragic fate. Trapped in ice, with rotting supplies and surrounded by a desolate landscape, they vanished into the frozen shadows of the Arctic. For years, Franklin's whereabouts remained one of the greatest mysteries in British history. Rescue missions were launched, but all that was found were vague clues, like the Victory Point note, which reported Franklin's death and his crew's desperate attempt to survive. The ice had buried not only the ships, but also the hopes of many. Years later, in 1853, HMS Investigator was dispatched in a final attempt to locate Franklin. It, too, was seized by the relentless ice. The ship disappeared for over 150 years, buried in the depths of the Arctic. It wasn't until July 2010, during a Parks Canada mission, that the unexpected happened. While testing an underwater scanner, eerie images of a ship buried at the sea floor emerged. To everyone's surprise, it was HMS Investigator, the vessel that had become part of the very search it set out to complete. The discovery was nothing short of monumental. Preserved by the ice, the ship was a time capsule, revealing secrets hidden for centuries. Its discovery revived the search for Franklin's ships. In 2014, HMS Erebus was finally located, followed by HMS Terror in 2016, using the same technology that had revealed Investigator. These discoveries are more than historical victories. They also carry significant geopolitical weight. The Northwest Passage that Franklin so desperately sought has become navigable due to Arctic ice melt. Canada now claims this region, bolstering its international standing, while the forgotten history of Arctic exploration resurfaces, unexpectedly shaping the future. The past, preserved in icy waters, has returned to remind us that human exploration and resilience transcend time, and that history, even when buried, can someday rewrite the present. If you enjoyed this icy journey through the mysteries of our planet, don't go just yet. YouTube is now recommending 2 videos made especially for you, and trust us, they will leave you speechless too. Click and uncover yet another hidden secret of history.